I think it
that
was
they're
like
going to be touring.
Saturday through Wednesday
Mm-hmm.
or something like that.
Yeah, like you're just adding more to an already hectic schedule that is constantly injuring your talent.
Yeah,
Okay, that makes sense.
just a bit.
Not not on any planet ever. And it's like you look at the past, honestly, the past year have been an absolute mental clusterfuck. And it's been injury after injury after injury after injury. And it's not even just like the fooler talent. It's their big draws that are getting injured,
Yep.
getting shelved. And it's like you would think that you wouldn't be adding more to the already chaotic workload. Because these people are on the road 300 days a year as it is. And when they're not doing shows, they're traveling. When they're not traveling, they're doing promotion. When they're not doing promotion, it's some sort of like press of just any kind. And it's like the work is never done because when you're home, you have to do all of the shit you can't do during the week when you're on the road, which you're still technically working. You maybe get a vacation a year if you're lucky. And if you're lucky, like there's no guarantees. The only way people are getting vacation now is because they're fucking hurt.
And
It's
that's
like,
not even a vacation.
no, it's like, I think it was Emma or something. Like she's on vacation and she's here in Tampa, and it's like that's really not much of a vacation. But she's obviously rehabbing and recovering from her surgery, which was successful.
Thank God.
Yeah, but like the only way that these people get any time to themselves, to their family, to their significant others is by getting hurt.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I mean, you can be passionate about something until you're blue in the face, and you can be passionate about your work on just in general, but my God, when is enough enough? Like, you can give people time off. Like, you can still have a successful company and not work your people into the fucking ground.
And honestly, I think if they started giving out these vacations, so to speak, I think it would be a lot better for the company because it forces them to develop these other characters and put on new storylines and give us something new. But
Yeah.
instead, we get the same old crap all the time because they're overworking everybody.
Yeah, and I mean, you're never ever going to hear the talent complaining because, they do make decent money, and that's what you want to do in life. You want to do what you love to do, and you want to be paid for it. Like, you want to make money for doing what you love to do.
Exactly.
And yes, they are compensated well. Like, they are taken care of to, a degree, but it's like, how much is it worth to sell your soul and not really get anything in return?
Plus, on top of that, money doesn't really equate to actually having family time. Because a lot of
Mm-mm.
these people, you don't realize it. Some of them are married, some of them have kids, and they honestly
Yeah.
don't get to see them for the most part unless their significant other comes out to them or they're within the same town.
Yeah. And then I mean, it kind of goes hand in hand with the recent um, promo that Charlotte did on her father, which was absolutely mental and just heal, 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 heal. But there is some truth to it because you are always on the road. You don't get to see your children grow. And it's part of why Shawn stepped away, or Shawn Michaels obviously stepped away from professional wrestling, is because he wanted to be there for his kids.
Yep.
Like, you have to choose between what's more important, your dream or your family, because you really can't have a happy marriage of the two. And it's really, kind of sad, and you don't see it in any other promotions. I mean, what are the other like big promotions like TNA? Like, I mean, they're not even paying their talent, so whatever. Uh, but it's really unfortunate because yes, the WWE is where you want to be because obviously you're getting paid for one.
And the exposure's pretty good too.
Yeah, the exposure is insane. Like you step foot on a WWE telecast and you're known the world over pretty much. You make one good impression on a WWE telecast and you are set. And it's kind of sad to see that that big dream for so many people can end in tears because there's not a whole lot that you can get for that happy marriage of like your personal life being great and your professional life, which is honestly what people strive for their entire lives.
And on top of that, though, I mean, if you're working that long and you're getting hurt and you do have a family, you also run the risk of getting hurt so badly that you can't be that person that gets down the floor and plays with your kids. You're not going to be able to be as well as you could be to make sure that your kids get what they need in life.
Yeah.
I mean, Daniel Bryan, he was lucky to get out when he did because, if it had gone on any longer and he and Brie ended up having kids, he might not be able to do anything with them.
And it's the same for, guys like Edge.
Yep.
He had to step away before he ever had children. But like, now he actually gets that opportunity to, be at home and, see his kids grow up. Like, and it took him having a completely debilitating neck injury to do it.
Yep.
Like, it's really heartbreaking, and this is probably the realest we're gonna get on this because like we're not sentimental people on air anyway. But it's really shitty, and I think this new touring schedule is just gonna make things even worse. Blows my mind that this was even a consideration.
I know.
But what can you do? Yeah, sucks.
So on top of that, we also have more topics that actually revolve around the brand split, and one of the ones that have been going around recently is the topic of splitting up tag teams. And it started because I think on Sports Center recently, Enzo and Cass addressed the whole thing that it is possible that tag teams can be split up, but I'm going to dispel it right now and just put you people at ease. That interview for Sports Center was also in connection with the WWE. They're talking about what, quote, could happen, but realistically, if they're ever going to bust up Enzo and Cass, it's not going to be for very, very, very long time.
Yeah.
Because Enzo and Cass are money.
Oh, yeah. And honestly, I don't think there's a tag team in the company. And I'm talking, on Raw, potentially on SmackDown and NXT. Honestly, I don't think there's a tag team in professional wrestling at this current moment that are as over as Cass and Enzo. And I mean, you can debate that with me all damn day, but proof is in the fucking punch. Like Enzo and Cass put asses in seats. Like they, the second their music hits, everybody is on their fucking feet. It doesn't matter if you like the good guys. It doesn't like the bad guys. The guy. It doesn't matter what you prefer as far as your favorites. Whether you love them or think they're fucking annoying, they get a reaction.
Yep.
And at this current moment, they need that. They need the tag teams that are revitalizing the tag team division, because the tag team division for the past, I want to say good 2, 3, 4 years have just been on this absolutely mental decline. And it's only recently, like, people are constantly talking about, the Diva Revolution, or now the Women's Revolution. But it's more than just the women that got shafted. The tag team division has been a fucking joke. And, it might even be longer than that, because it really was at its peak with, teams like the Hardys Edge and Christian,
Oh, it's
the
been
Dudley
well
boys.
over a decade since we've had at least any good, plausible
Yeah.
tag teams.
I mean, they're keeping tag team wrestling around for like whatever, but like there has not been a tag team that, you know, get people excited like in so long.
Yeah, nobody
And
cared.
now,
It was always the same teams.
mhm. And now, I mean, you obviously have your stereotypical filler teams. You have like the Usos who are fucking everywhere. And that's probably literally only because they're part of the Samoan dynasty, and that's the
Yep.
only reason. But you know, now there are tag teams like, you know, the Vaudevillains, who are a tag team that have an authentic gimmick. You have, you know, the New Day, which they weren't, for all intents and purposes, the New Day wasn't even supposed to be a fucking thing.
Yeah.
And I think it was actually Big E that tweeted, you know, a year ago we couldn't even get them to put a T-shirt on the shelf. And, you know, now we're able to, you know, there's people showing up to arenas with like fucking fake boxes of cereal, you know, just because it reps the New Day. And it's like, you know, they obviously give the fan base, you know, all of the credit, because without the fans, you know, eating them up, so to speak, they wouldn't have gotten anywhere.
Also, I would
And
like to say that if it weren't for the New Day, we would not have our mascot, the majestic Manicorn Alex.
exactly. So we kind of owe the New Day because of our mascot. So thank you. But you know, you have teams like the New Day that, you know, get people excited, whether you love them or think they're annoying. Again, they put asses in seats and they sell merchandise.
Yep.
You know, and then there's tag teams like Enzo and Cass. And Enzo and Cass are legitimately the new age Edge and Christian.
Mm-hmm.
They are so effortlessly entertaining, and you cannot tell me that Enzo Amore isn't one of the best talkers the WWE has ever had,
Jesus,
period.
right?
And it's like the really cool thing is we recently were able to see Cass on his own. And granted, the circumstances sucked. You know, Enzo got hurt. He was out with a concussion, but like we got to see Big Cass as Big Cass. It wasn't just Enzo and Big Cass. It was authentically 100% Cass. And he proved in spades, in droves, in fucking a royal flush that he could handle it on his own. So that makes them even more of an authentic threat because, you know, you look back on the great tag teams and they were always great together, but you put one of them, you know, on their own and you could obviously tell where the weak link was. You could do this with the Hardy Boys. Jeff Hardy was always the strong one. Always. Matt Hardy kind of toppled a little bit, you know, with the
A
Dudleys.
little bit? Have you seen him recently? He looks like fucking Lemony Snicket.
I know, dude. I can't even fucking understand like what the fuck. Yes, I have seen Matt Hardy recently, and meth, not even once. Okay, like don't do drugs.
Please.
That's your PSA. Go look at the Hardy Boys, and then remember not to do drugs.
Moving on.
But obviously, that was really tasteless, so I'm only sort of sorry. But like, you could always tell who the stronger one of the two was. With the Dudleys, I always thought Devon was a little bit stronger of a character than Bubba Ray. Other people might think the opposite, which is fine, but I absolutely loved Reverend Devon. I thought the character was utterly hilarious, and he played it very well. And then with Edge and Christian, I love Christian to the ends of the earth, but he couldn't get over to save his life on his own.
Yeah. I mean, this sort of like math or science or whatever you want to call it dates back very, very far. I mean, you go back and you look at like the Rockers. It was clear that Marty Jannetty was the weaker one. I mean, I loved Marty Jannetty back in the day. He was still a very strong performer, but out of the two, Shawn was the star.
Yep. It's the same with the Four Horsemen. It was always Rick.
Yep.
Like, you could literally go back to the beginning of professional wrestling in the beginning of time, and you can literally pull this sort of equation out and be like, okay, let's figure this out. Like, which which member of the tag team was the weak link. With Enzo and Cass, it's becoming very difficult to